Hey everyone, welcome to this week's live stream. If you come and say hi, I would love to hear from you. If you are catching the replay, hop in, ask questions, leave comments. I'd love to hear your experience. I want to talk today about something that I see so often with women in particular. The big-hearted women, the women who love to give and do, who have this heart of gold and this mind filled with vision and it just, can you feel it? Like that kind of woman, maybe you're that kind of woman, or maybe that kind of woman, like that kind of woman in your life. These women, they have big hearts, they have big visions, like they do big things, and they're amazing. They're often described as superwomen. When they come to me and they wind up feeling this sense of like, like, Dr. Toni, I don't know why, but I have all of this beautiful stuff in my life, like all of these blessings, all of these things that I've worked really hard for. I've worked really hard to build my business and it's doing well. It's been successful. Or I've worked really hard to grow in my career. I'm in these leadership positions. I'm running these teams. I'm doing really big things. I'm doing really great at work. I'm really good at work. And I have this family that I love, that my children who I love, I adore, and I'm raising them. And I'm in these relationships with folks, friends, my partner, and I have all of these aspects of my life that I had always wanted. I have a home where I can be warm. I have access to what I need, right? I have what I need. I've hit goals that I've wanted to hit, but I feel like something is, I don't know, like a disconnected, or like I want something like more, or maybe like something's not right, or I'm feeling numb, and I don't get it. Because why? How can I have all of these things in my life? How can I have accomplished all of this stuff and be privileged in all of these ways, and it still feel like somehow it's not enough, or something is off? And oftentimes what will happen is they'll go into explaining how they should be feeling grateful. I tell myself I should be feeling grateful for all of this stuff, and I am grateful for it. I'm grateful to be a mom. I'm grateful to have this leadership position. I'm grateful for this financial success. I'm grateful that my business has grown. I'm grateful that I, have a partner. I'm grateful for this. I'm grateful that things are different now for me than they were when I was a child. I'm grateful that I can provide differently for my family than, was able to be provided for me when I was a child. Like, I'm grateful for this stuff, but if there's a mismatch, because I also feel guilty that I have all of this and I've accomplished all of this. And there's a bunch of people out there that don't have what I have and have to work really hard to get things in their lives, and they're struggling or falling or failing or don't have support. And here I am with all of this, and yet it doesn't feel like enough. And so I feel guilty that I should be grateful more than I am, and I shouldn't want anything more. Have you ever felt that way? This sense of I shouldn't be feeling what I'm feeling because I have no right. I have no right to feel what I'm feeling. How could I possibly have a right to feel what I'm feeling when I know there's other people out there that don't have what I have, that haven't accomplished what I've accomplished, that haven't gotten to where I've gotten yet? It's what I call guilty gratitude. And it's a segue when we allow that to build. When we point the finger, shake that finger at ourselves and say, oh, you shouldn't be feeling that way. You should just be grateful for what you have. You can't feel overwhelmed. You can't feel stressed. You wanted this. You can't want more. Look at all that you have. You can't want different. You know how hard we work to get this? When you're shaking your finger at yourself and saying you shouldn't feel the way that you feel, and start pushing down those feelings because you're like, must be something wrong with me because I shouldn't be feeling that. And so you feel guilty for feeling what you feel, and then you tell yourself not to feel it. But then you feel worse because you're like, but I feel it. And I shouldn't feel it. But I'm pushing it down so I don't feel it. But because I actually do feel it and I can't get rid of the feeling, I feel worse. It's confusing as all, right? And yet so many of you are nodding your heads with me right now, right? It is a segue into toxic positivity. A segue into a form of handling our emotions in a toxic, unhealthy, and unhelpful way that I so often see high-performing women, highly compassionate women, highly empathic women, go-getter, action-oriented women find themselves in the cycle of. Because you shouldn't feel that way. You should just be grateful for what you have. You should just focus on the positive. And the truth is that when we push down those real and valid emotional experiences, when we tell them they don't matter, when we minimize them, when we dismiss them, when we put them in a little box and push it over to the corner, when we ignore, avoid, distract, when we do everything in our power to get rid of them, pay them no mind, and not let them get in our way, what is happening is we are slowly disconnecting from the emotional spectrum that we are meant to experience. The reason that matters is because as social emotional beings, especially women, we are meant to experience a spectrum of emotion. The uncomfortable and painful to the blissful elation. We're meant to be able to experience the spectrum. And when we say, no, you are not allowed to feel this way, you are not allowed to feel this discomfort, you are not allowed to feel this pain, you are not allowed to feel X, Y, or Z. What happens is we're not just pinching off, closing off, distancing ourselves from the more challenging end of the emotional spectrum. We're actually pinching off, distancing ourselves from being able to experience the whole breadth and depth of the emotional spectrum, which means that numbing feeling, that disconnected feeling that is happening for you is because you've moved away from allowing yourself to feel what really needs to be felt, and therefore to work with it and process it and have it move through, right? And that has limited this end of the spectrum where joy is felt, elation, pleasure, enjoyment, satisfaction, ecstasy. It's not possible to numb, to dull, to overly compartmentalize only one end of the emotional spectrum and not have the other end affected. It is a spectrum. And so what's happening when we get stuck in this guilty gratitude cycle, shaking the finger at ourselves for not feeling good, better, content, happy, satisfied, insert whatever emotion you want to put there, for not feeling the way we think we should feel or we're told we should feel because of all we have. When we tell ourselves we can't feel that, what happens is we are slowly, gradually, actually disconnecting from ourselves. Unintentionally, right? But because we're social emotional beings, if we are disconnecting from our emotional experience, we are disconnecting from a part of ourselves that is vital to our human experience. And I see this so often. So I want to have this conversation because guilty gratitude is a cycle that we can call out, identify some of the roots, some of the things, the beliefs, behaviors, experiences that are actually informing it, so that we can shift it, so that we can reset, so that we can refresh, we can reorient, we can rewire the brain and nervous system to experience, respond, and process the kinds of situations that bring up that shaking finger, guilty gratitude cycle, and allow for other experiences to come in. Not so that we can rid ourselves from ever feeling any negative emotion, and not so that we can rid ourselves from ever feeling guilt. If you're feeling guilt, it's coming up for a reason. Let's work with it. And if you're feeling genuine gratitude, that is a beautiful thing, but you cannot fake or force it. You cannot fake or force it. It doesn't work. And so if you can connect with this, if this resonates with you, this sense of guilty gratitude, or maybe you have a different name for your cycle, then join us in the reset experience. We already have some beautiful, high-achieving powerhouse women in there. And the doors close in just a couple weeks. It's a private, small, intimate community of women that are managing motherhood, their marriage, their professional mission, alongside prioritizing their own mental health. Because when you are able to prioritize and to engage in healing, yes, healing is not a dirty word. We can have healing and high achievement intersect in a very healthy way. When we can do that, we elevate not only our personal experiences within our relationships at home, but also the way we show up professionally, the impact we make professionally. We gain more clarity in the decisions that we make professionally. The ripple effect is astounding. And I have so many examples of stories that I could share about this. But I'll share just one really, really quick one before I hop off today. A friend and colleague who I've recently met bought my book, The Reset, High Achiever's Guide to Freedom and Fulfillment. It's right back here, right? It's what the Reset experience is derived from. And she started reading it. And you know what happened? So she reached out to me. Hi! She reached out to me and she said, Toni, I started reading your book and actually integrating the daily tidbits that are in there. It's all broken down so you can do a little bit each day. She said, it gave me the clarity that I needed to finally make the decision to quit my job, to quit this particular position in her job, so that she could begin what she had been dreaming of beginning for quite a while now, a particular business that she wants to run. And she did that. And she already has a wait list of clients lined up. And she then felt inspired and gained clarity around a book that she's been writing. And she said, I got the inspiration and the courage to ask some folks to read it and to give me feedback. And that has helped me actually make it better and move further along in the process. When you engage with the reset process, we don't have to push down the uncomfortable, the hard, any of those emotions that maybe we feel guilty about feeling because our life is actually good. We can bring them to the surface, work with them, which helps clear them out, and then allows for more space, more mental space, less mental clutter, to open up. And that creates room for clarity to enter in and for you to discover, what are my next steps? Taking this personal time with myself, for myself, helps me to clarify not just the next steps I want to take at home as a mom or a partner, but the next steps I want to take professionally to continue on and elevating that success in a way that feels fulfilling and meaningful, not just for the sake of checking things off the list. That's just one small recent example. I could keep going on and on, but I want us to close for today. Ask me questions. Let me know your experience. I would love to hear if this resonates with you, if it brings anything up for you, or if maybe you've already identified and begun to break your guilt-ridden cycle that comes up for you. And if this is bringing to mind a woman in your life, powerhouse woman, that's an entrepreneur or a leader professionally, share this live with her, let her know, and see, maybe it's exactly what she's been asking for, exactly what she's been needing in the next step of her reset journey. I'll talk to y'all later.